Now, most people will recognize you from X Factor. So we have to talk about the X Factor just for a little bit before we get on to your amazing faith story. What was your favorite thing about being on X Factor?
I think being on X Factor was for me, it was more of a learning journey. I knew I loved to sing, I knew I loved to perform, but I really didn't understand how TV worked and how the media worked, how the industry worked. And I think for me, knowledge is power. And that was what I most enjoyed, watching every step of the way, what everybody's doing, the team behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, the music team. It was thrilling.
No. Can you explain what's Simon Cowell really like?
Simon Cowell?
Yeah.
Oh, he's awful.
Really?
No, I'm joking. No, he's lovely. Actually, he changed a lot when he had his son, and luckily for me, when I auditioned and I become part of the show, he was a big softie, and he had a bit of a soft spot for me. He always knew I was going to do well, and every time I was, should we say, thrown off the show, he was the main person that would encourage my mentor to bring me back. And he was just so kind. He gave me the best advice, and we're still friends now.
Right. You really seemed to have an instant connection when you walked into the audition room. I don't know if that was just how it was edited, but you walked in there and instantly everyone, all of the judges, like seemed to love you straight away, and there was just this connection. But I mean, could you tell us what it's like going into that room and, you know, not knowing what's going to happen?
If you could see behind the scenes, I was shaking, I was really scared, I was floods of tears, and you have to kind of just put your big girl shoes on when you get into the room and think, right, this is my one shot. I cannot mess this up. And I think I came across quite humble.
You did, yeah. Well, even in the competition, when you hear you sing at the judges' houses, that was an incredible performance. That was an incredible performance.
Powerful.
That was a big one. Who would you say were your musical influences developing your voice? Because you've got a very distinct voice.
Yeah, jazzy, old school. So I grew up listening to blues, jazz, things like that. I'm such an old soul, and even my modern music would be more old school R&B or ska, you know, nothing's really past the 90s for me. I couldn't tell you who anyone is to this day, and that's really bad because I should know who artists are, but I've always stayed really vintage, really true to myself.
Well, that's beautiful. I love that. I'm interested, did it get more comfortable for you as you progressed through in terms of when you stepped onto the stage? Not at all? Worse.
As the competition led on, you realise what's at stake. So every round, you know, the first round, my first audition, I just thought, you know, it was a great experience, but don't get through, who cares?
Yeah, you did it. That's
I did it.
In itself.
But then I got through to boot camp and I thought, okay, I'm going to take this a bit more seriously. And then I got through to second round of boot camp, which was the wall. And I thought, all right, I'm going to try a bit harder now because this, you know, I've got through 3 rounds now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, I'm in judges' houses.
Was it annoying to be included in the overs category?
Overs?
I hate the name
over 25, like you're done.
It's like, I've just turned 25 and I'm
you're
I would
in
be in the overs category?
You might have to make a new category for me now, nearly 40. the OAP group.
Right, I have one more question about
it.
X Factor. So thank you for indulging me. So how has it changed your life? Like, did it change your life?
Exposure, exposure. People want to work with me now. People take me seriously, and it's never left me. It used to drive me crazy. I used to think, oh, stop talking about X Factor.
Yeah.
Whenever the papers write about me, it's X Factor's Talia Dean. I've never lost that tag ever.
You come to talk about your faith story, and I'm asking all the gossip about X Factor.
I've come here today, but the thing is, now I'm starting to really embrace it. I'm starting to think, do you know what? I did an amazing thing. I beat 60,000 people. The first round of them auditions, 60,000 people auditioned, and I made it to the final, I think 12 or 15.
Yeah.
12 without the wild cards, 15 with the wild cards. And now I'm incredibly proud.
Such an incredible achievement.
I think so now. Before I was embarrassed. Before I was embarrassed because I thought, you know, it's such a reality show. And when you think of reality shows now, they're not... you know, they're not... I think for me it was a last resort. If I was any younger, I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
But now I'm proud.
Yeah. Oh, and you know, looking at the span of your life now, you could look at that very clearly and think, you know, God put me there for a reason.
I think so.
Yeah. So.
I think He wanted me to learn. He wanted me to experience big TV, big audiences, and He also wanted me to learn, I guess, how to engage with an audience. You know, do you sing slow songs? Do you sing fast songs? And also the biggest challenge of that is there's no more sleep for you anymore. You know, you work hard. On XFactor, we were up at 5 and in bed by midnight. And it really is like that.
Right. Proper boot camp, not just
it was proper. And you're driven everywhere. You're not really allowed to talk to anybody, understandably, because it's all secret, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that is the life. And if you think of big artists like Lady Gaga, and you know, it's not just for the show. This is how they live their lives, and it is exhausting. It is draining. You can see why these people either fall or turn to God. You notice it quite a lot, don't you, with celebrities? They turn to God in their later years and everything. And I think because it's such a hard industry.
Right, that's so interesting. What have you been doing after XFactor?
Oh, so I've actually, when I come off the show, I collaborated with some guy from a band. I don't know if you know him, Sir Brian May. He's in some small
Sir Brian
band.
May. Oh yeah, he's you know, is he a tribute? He's from Queen.
Oh, that's it. He plays guitar, doesn't he?
What are you doing with Brian May?
Oh well, I've been his friend for a long time, and when I come off the show, I was really determined to keep going, keep writing, keep my music flowing, and I sent him a song and said, "Hey Brian, what do you think of this?" A few days went past, and then I ended up with this email with my song in it and his guitar solo on top, and he went, "No, what do you think of this?" And I was like, "Wow, he's playing on my track." So we released a track together called Get Up with my then band, King's Daughters. And just ever since then, I've been performing at charities, I've been performing at bar mitzvahs. You know, I've always worked, and it's just flowed. It's really been enjoyable. And writing, I've been writing songs as well for myself. Loads, really.
So you've got this incredible, like, change, because you were born in the Catholic Church, right?
My dad's Italian, so we're all Roman Catholic. We're Roman Catholics. We are very, very strict and full of the love.
So it was a religious upbringing.
Even though I was born into Catholicism and I got lost, it never left me, those memories.
You said you got lost. Like, was there an intentional, like, I'm not doing this anymore, or did it just kind of fade away?
You just get led, don't you? You know, being bad's fun. And you don't realise that actually it's not fun, it's actually really damaging you, but it seems to be a lot easier to do bad things like party, go out, you know, write songs that perhaps aren't the best influence on children, or with the lyrically, it's so much easier to be lazy. It's so much easier to just do what you want when you want than actually have a full focus in life. And when you do it a little bit, you start doing it a lot, and then your whole life becomes, actually, I'm just going to do what I want when I want because this is me. And I think that's where I got lost. Also working in a music industry that requires you to work long hours, to be up late. You know, most shows, the earliest you could start a show is probably 9, and the earliest you come off stage is maybe 2 at the latest. This cycle of not sleeping, writing songs that perhaps aren't the most influential to children, money, you know, doing things that you know is going to get you a lot of money but perhaps aren't morally right. When you do little bits of all this all the time, you suddenly find that you're very, very far away from God, and you don't even realise till you have a really bad day and all you need is maybe a bit of love, a bit of faith, and you don't know how to get it. And that's really how I ended up coming back into my faith.
Was there a moment then? Was there an awakening, you know?
Of course, yeah. There was a moment where I really sank. You know,
Right.
I was tired. I was sick of having to, what can you say, stroke egos just to get work. I was tired of chasing money. I was tired of writing songs that I didn't feel, and also I was single at the time, so just feeling alone a lot. And I just got very, very fed up of life, and I just thought to myself, what am I doing? I'm nearly 40, and I'm really unhappy. And why am I unhappy? My music was flying. I've got everything I need. I can buy anything I want, but I'm still deeply miserable. I'm, you know, perhaps meeting up with people that were never good for me, but just in search of something that made me feel whole.
Yeah.
And there would come a point in December where I really did crash. And I personally believe that God was there to just scoop me up very quickly.
How did you know it was God? Like,
oh, of course it was. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
I remember it was New Year's Eve. It was a Sunday, and every door was shut on me, and I felt so low. And I remember my family keep ringing me and saying, "Are you coming out with us for New Year's Eve?" And I'd be like, yeah. But deep in my mind, thinking I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
I'm staying home. But what I do want to do is I want to go to church. It was a Sunday, just gone, New Year's Eve. For some reason, I don't know why, but on a Sunday, every church was shut. I went to my church, shut. I went to Hillsong, shut. I went to St Andrews, which is a C of E church, shut. And I thought, he really don't love me. This is it. I've ruined it. Yeah, I felt like not even he loves me now.
You took that as a kind of sign?
I took it, yeah. So I just sat in St Andrews graveyard with my head in my hands, just thinking, I'm so lost, I'm so low. And when I looked up, the vicar's wife was in front of me, and she said, "Do you want to come for a cup of tea at my house?" And I went to hers for a cup of tea, and it was amazing. I'd never met her before. And she said, "Sorry, the vicar's not here, but I'm here, and you look really sad. Do you want to come for a cup of tea?" She prayed for me, and I thought, this is a bit weird, but I like it. And the whole kitchen lit up, and it was the most amazing experience, and I really, really did feel God. And I suddenly, that feeling of sinking felt really light.
That's amazing.
And I felt loved, and I thought, this is it. Now, if all them churches weren't shut, I wouldn't have met her that day. I would never have met her. But it didn't end there. I went home, and I kind of said, "That was you. Show me again." He did. And then I said again, how? Again, it was a really grey day. And if you remember New Year's Eve 2023, it was the most wettest, greyest day ever. There wasn't one bit of sun in the sky or anything. And I said, "Show me," and he parted the clouds. And my whole bedroom lit up again, just like in the vicar's kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah. If it wasn't enough, I went,
Hey, you know what happens when you keep asking for signs?
Yeah, and he keeps saying to them, I said,
I'm worried here.
No, I said, all right, just one more, and I will believe you. And I honestly, I kid you not, in that gap where he parted the clouds and the sun came in, massive rainbow. It was a massive rainbow, and I just knew, and I couldn't believe it. And I thought, is that a rainbow? From where? And I promise you, I turned to grab my phone to take a picture of it because I thought, this is unbelievable. And when I turned back, it had gone. The sun, everything, everything. The rainbow, the clouds, the sun. There was a little bit of a gap left, but I texted the vicar and I said, "You're not going to believe what's just happened to me." And she said, "You wasn't supposed to take a photo, that was for you. That moment was just for you." And do you know what? Ever since then, completely surrendered. I turned my life to God. I went on the Alpha course.
I've heard of that.
I went on the Alpha course. I started to study the Bible. I started to really believe that somebody loved me and he was real, and every door opened for me. I hadn't felt that low again, that pain, that weight had gone. And you know, when I talk about God now, and I talk about Jesus, and when I talk about all these things that I'm experiencing, the Old Testament, the New Testament, I just feel like happy all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited. And that comes from real, true, deep love, which I didn't have before. You know, I was sitting at number 12 in the charts, which is really hard to do, by the way. By the way,
I would have
it's really
thought that
hard.
would have been easy.
No, it's really hard to do.
That's
Number
amazing.
12 in the charts in 2020, and I've never felt more depressed.
Wow.
Never
Really?
felt more,
Really?
in 2020. I think that you can't really experience that happiness without God in your life. I could have owned an island and I still would have been miserable.
So how is your contrasting to before and after? What else have you noticed like changed in your life because you've come to God, including how has it affected your music?
Personal change is peace. I feel a lot of peace now. I don't feel...
Do you feel like you were chasing something beforehand?
Oh, constantly. It was a rat race, constantly. Chasing money, chasing shows, chasing contracts, chasing... Now I'm like, whatever he sends, that's for me. Whatever's meant for me, it won't pass me by. I'm not, bubbling to chase something. And now I'm thinking, I actually really want to write songs about faith, songs about love, songs about God. And it's coming so easy.
Right.
I had a producer ring me the other day and say, "Oh, we're looking for a Christian singer." Is that something like? No one's ever done that to me before. Like, what are you doing?
I don't think anyone in history has like.
Yeah, we're looking for a Christian singer. Do you want to come and lay your vocals on some tracks? I'm like, what? And then I found you, and then I found, and then I'm now, which I haven't mentioned by the way. I should have mentioned this first. I'm actually now officially the ambassador for CAFOD, which is the biggest Catholic charity.
That's amazing, congratulations.
I know. And I was singing at St George's Cathedral recently. No one's ever asked me to sing at a cathedral before.
Yeah.
No one's ever asked me to just randomly sing at a cathedral. It just seems like every door is effortlessly opening.
It seems like God has a work for you to do.
A plan.
Right? God has a plan. And so you look back, we've talked about XFactor for ages, but you look at all that in the perspective of now, but also he knows what's coming as well. We don't know that.
I don't even know.
It all kind of makes sense now, everything that's...
I don't know what God has planned for me. I really don't. But I trust him. And everything he gives me, I take.
Has there been a tension at all between your newfound faith and the music industry? There's a lot of things going around about the music industry.
Yeah. I just know that I've never felt closer to God, and when I was working in mainstream media, I've never felt further away.
Interesting.
And if I could choose all the money in the world, or to feel a deep sense of love from God, I'd choose that. I'd live penniless to feel how happy I am at the moment.
That's beautiful. So, final thing, I want you to look at the camera and give one piece of advice to people listening. And you don't have to sing it. You can just say it.
One piece of advice. I would just say, be open-minded. Know that you're not alone. And in your darkest hour, talk to God. And you'll see the magic change in your life.
Amazing. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us for this fun street interview, but
I know,
pre-planned thing. I don't know what to call it, but hope you've enjoyed it. And yes, we'll see you again. Thanks, Talia.